What's going on, everybody? Nerd here, and I'm back, and I'm here to review you guys the game that I've been saying for probably a couple of months. Devil May Cry 5. As you can see here, this is my most anticipated game of 2019, and also I'm a huge Capcom fanatic. I grew up with Capcom ever since I was very little, and yeah, Capcom has been making a huge comeback though, even though they really do love to rely on Monster Hunter and Resident Evil all the time. And sorry guys, I don't have Resident Evil 2 Remake, but I'll get that one soon. And same thing with Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, and what sucks is that Street Fighter was never Xbox game too. To me, that was Capcom's biggest mistake. The game would at least sold like at least more than 6 million copies, but in the end it just did not happen. But yeah, I am missing a few Capcom games though, but I'll soon collect it all though. Same thing with the Mega Man X collection. Let's talk about the game that I've been most looking forward to and the most I have been anticipated of 2019, and that's Devil May Cry 5. And also, let's just give a bit of a history lesson though. Capcom was making a bunch of huge mistakes in the early 2010s. Let's just say this. Devil May Cry 4 was the most sold game in the series, and it sold nearly up to 3 million copies in its first couple of months in its year. But then later on, it did manage to sell like around 4 to 5 million currently, as of this day right now, the very franchise of that. And also, Capcom decided to pretty much just pull off the kill switch and reboot the franchise all over again. And to me, it was a huge slap in the face. Why did Capcom do that? And to me, it was like the dumbest decision they have ever made, and but even though I was like, you know what, I'll just play the game, and believe it or not, I really did like the game. The game was amazing though, but the only thing that killed it, Dante was very unlikable in the very beginning of the game. You do grew on him in the very end after that. Watch a reboot again of like how Dante and Virgil pretty much just lost their way, and why Dante slayed down Mundus, and pretty much that's about it. And to me, it was pretty much wasted potential. Why did it reboot the franchise? Dante and Virgil were, yeah, this is how they pretty much became enemies. And also, the combat felt really good, but at the same time, there was no camera aiming and stuff like that until they addressed that with the special edition. We'll get to that later on. But first, let's start off with Devil May Cry 5, developed and published by Capcom. Devil May Cry 5. Also, director Hideaki Itsuno, which I thank him for bringing back this franchise back from the dead, and also who also did the Devil May Cry 3 and Devil May Cry 4 games. Here he does manage to make a comeback though, and then also he gets assistance by producer Matt Walker, and also I thank him too a lot for bringing back this game from the dead, and also listening to fan feedback too. And if you guys want to know another small history lesson, Capcom did release back in 2015 Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition and DMC Devil May Cry Edition for like the reboot of the game, and they want to see which one of those two sells well. And believe it or not, DMC 4 Special Edition sold much well than DMC Devil May Cry. It was like right here, and then Devil May Cry 4 just pretty much outsold its predecessor. And with that, Capcom, should I say Matt Walker and Hideaki Itsuno, he was like, you know what, let's make Devil May Cry 5 what the fans actually wanted, and also let's just give homage to these other characters, and at least give them lineage to all those characters. And then with that, Capcom at least managed to do that. But you know what, let's cut the chase. Let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the story. The story, it takes place immediately, like a couple of years later, or should I say pretty much nearly after Devil May Cry 4. Nero is now an independent Devil May Cry hunter for hire, and he's accompanied by Nico, who is an arms dealer and helps Nero with whatever, because during these moments where Nero becomes a demon slayer, he loses his arm, his demon arm, and goes after the guy who actually stole it. And pretty much, you know, it's obvious who actually did steal Nero's arm, though. And also, you go on, and after that, you give a chase to the guy, even though you kind of recovered your arm, though. But your arm is a lot more different now. You are now using a robotic arm that Nero has now been using, though. And also, you are slaying down this demon called Urizen, and you're in there to pretty much help out V, who calls Dante to at least help assist him with the demon Urizen. And then with that, everything in the story completely unfolds. There's like moments where like the story goes here from point A, and it goes to point H, and then it goes back to point B, and then it goes back to point C, and it goes back and forth. But the story is not convoluted, but in the end it just manages to, like, you know, at least give you an understanding of like what's really going on with the story of DMC5. And in the end, Urizen, pretty much, I was wondering who the hell this Urizen person is. And then later on, after we find out who this Urizen person is, we already find out who the connection was, though. And after that, there's a lot of plots and twists that happens in the game. And the story, without a doubt, was amazing, though. Nero is trying to at least get his, pretty much just go back to the, go after the man who pretty much stole his demon arms. But in the end, he managed to get some help by Nico, who upgraded him. Metal arm that she actually designed for him. And there's like different variations for him, which we'll get to later, though. So yeah, the story was amazing. I loved it. It's definitely like a little convoluted, but in the end, it's passable because you kind of understand like how the lore actually works in Devil May Cry 5 and how much fan feedback it gets too, because it's absolutely amazing too. So yeah. Also, let's talk about Nero and also his new partner, Nico. Nero is a demon hunter, is becoming completely like Dante, though, because after Nero and Dante had a bit of a clash in Devil May Cry 4, and knowing that Dante was not actually the real enemy of Devil May Cry 4, he now notices that he has a motivation to pretty much put his powers to the test and use it to pretty much at least provide for himself and for his Kiri. Kiri, we only get some small snippets of her and stuff like that, and yeah, you only get a little bit of that too. And also, the new character that shows up here, which is actually Nico. She's an arms dealer person, and pretty much we know who the lineage of her who was actually, and that's actually the people who made Ebony and Ivory. She's very likable, even though her Western accent's a little bit off, though. But to me, Nico was a really great character, though. Even though her lineage, though, we knew it was kind of nearly obvious, though, because everybody was predicting. I know she has a lineage between Dante and his guns, though, and it was true. And yeah, Nero and Nico, absolutely likable. Let's talk about the other character, V. V is actually brand new to the series, and V here, what he is up to is just, let's just say, he's more like this. He's more like Shakespeare, like, you know, reading a book like that and always saying like a bunch of like Shakespeare quotes and stuff like that. And all he's there, we kind of know what V is, obviously, but we finally get to know that he is actually trying to find a way to get Dante to find this demon, to slay down this demon that he needs help with. And even though Dante gets the attention from him, V, though, without a doubt, has a pretty interesting backstory. V, the character, him having a bit of an interesting backstory, though, and also his motivation to pretty much, like, you know, like, you'll know his true motivation at the near end of the game and what he's trying to do in order to accomplish his mission. It was really good. And yeah, amazing. As for Dante, played by Ruben Langdon, oh man, Ruben Langdon, it's good to hear you back again, dude. And same thing goes for you, Johnny Young Bosch, who did return to voice Nero. I was absolutely happy to see the Dante that we all know and love from Devil May Cry 4. And also, Ruben Langdon didn't make his return. He did make his return for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, pretty much sounding more about his younger counterparts, and he did manage to do a really good job. He's very likable. He's the same character that you all know and love. He kind of acts like Deadpool at times, and that's what I like about him too. His ego, his attitude, and how the way he acts. He sometimes takes it very seriously, and there's moments where he doesn't take it even seriously, especially the part where he pretty much gets the Faust hat, which was absolutely funny, though. Then also, it's good to see Lady and Trish to make a comeback, too. And I absolutely loved how the way they looked. And people were a little divided about Trish's look, but I was actually cool with it. I was like, Trish still looks pretty cute. And also Lady, my gosh, she's gorgeous, though. And she's not wearing her glasses, though, but that's fine, though, because Lady needs to look at least traditionally how she looks like back in TMC3. And the supporting cast is absolutely cool. But let's talk about the three biggest things here too. And I'm going to have to combine these here on the very bottom. Let's talk about the gameplay. Let's start with Nero. Nero's gameplay is back what it originally just starts from. But we do get to see Nero back with his Blue Rose hand cannon. I absolutely love the gun. You can charge it up so you can throw like 3 charge shots at the same time, which is really satisfying to land. And and if you do upgrade it, I think kind of put in like a small explosive so they can like explode. Nero's Red Queen. I loved it though. Even when you read it, it's very satisfying. His gameplay is absolutely cool, and then also his Devil Bringer. It has many different variations though. There's one where you pretty much just push him like Star Wars like that. Another one where you send yourself flying. Another one where you just like shoot stuff out of it. Another one where you grapple and you do some satisfying grapple attacks, which is really cool. That one was actually my favorite though, the Buster Arm, which was actually my favorite one though. And then also there was another, and there's some moments too where you like hold the B button and then you just deliver these really cool powerful attacks. One where you just deliver a huge giant beam, where Nero, you get to hear him curse a lot. Also, you get another one. You pretty much pause time and you pretty much to stop the demons that just completely froze. But you gotta be careful because if you get hit, you lose the arm. But there's one problem about the arm too. Sometimes you lose the arm too. If you're using the arm currently, you press the button and then you get hit, you lose the arm. But don't worry, you still got yourself covered with a bunch of arms. And what sucks is that it would have been a lot cool if you can switch it back and forth. But in the end, at least it's right where it is. So yeah, Nero's gameplay is awesome. Let's talk about V's gameplay though. V's gameplay, it's really, let's call it the easy mode. Using his bird Griffin, spinning out some beams, throwing out some shield and stuff like that is really cool and satisfying. Shadow the cat was absolutely the amazing part of the game. All I can say is this: V pretty much doesn't do much. You just only watch him stand there and do everything like that. Griffin and Shadow and of course the giant bulky monster when you do your double trigger. That one was actually satisfying though, and yeah, I consider it the easy mode though. Just be careful not to get V killed and stuff like that. His gameplay is absolutely let's just call it easy, but make sure to pretty much protect V so he won't get hit by a lot, because sometimes your other characters, like the ones that protect you, like because he's a necromancer, and you can pretty much just watch their health and as they pretty much just lose it down. Also, the only thing that was very satisfying about V is after you like put him like in a very low health state, you deliver these really cool executions to the characters, and it's very satisfying though. Just make sure not to get V hurt a lot, because he doesn't get really badly hurt, but at the same time, that way you can get yourself like an easy smoking sexy style rank, if you guys know what I mean, because that's why you can build your ranking up when you like hacking and slashing and stuff like that. And yeah, V's gameplay is awesome. Easy to learn, but hard to master though. Let's talk about Dante's gameplay, and woo, I absolutely loved it. In Devil May Cry 4, I was unsatisfied, but here, Capcom manages to nail it out of the park. Dante has 4 different weapons, 4 different sidearms, and also his Devil Trigger that also comes back too. The same thing goes for Nero though, but not really for Nero though, but for V he does have a Devil Trigger, and that's where he brings like the giant rock monster, and that's what's really cool. We'll get to the Devil Trigger part in a second though, but let's talk about Dante's weapons. The Rebellion, it's good to see the Rebellion back though. I absolutely love the Rebellion in the game. It's really cool and satisfying, but you don't get to see it very much though. You get to see Sparta, the weapon, and then you get to get yourself an enhanced version of the Rebellion, which is really, really cool. It's a little different from the Rebellion, but it's absolutely amazing. But you do deliver some really cool combos though. And then also you got another arm weapon, which you get some returning weapons like the Balrog, or should I say from Gilgamesh, and it kind of like made it much more enhanced and much more cool. You can do some breakdancings and you can do some this and then Shoryuken. And yeah, even though they call it the Balrog for a reason though, it would have been cooler when they would have called it the Rio, but the Balrog is fine though. Also, another weapon that does manage to make a return is the Cerebrus, and it's a 3-handed nunchuck that you can also transform into a bow staff. I find it very satisfying. What sucks is that you get it near at the final end of the game, and I love the weapon. It's very cool and satisfying to pull off some really cool combos in it. But don't get cocky though. You gotta at least switch it back and forth to the wary weapons though. But let's talk about one weapon though that I absolutely loved in the game, and it's the Cavalier, the motorcycle, or should I say the chainsaw motorcycle. I loved it so damn much. You just pretty much do road rash, and you just take out your motorcycle, pull it in half, and you just go.
Oh God. Ah!
I really love the Cavalier. It's amazing. It's one of my favorite new weapons in the game, and you don't get much new weapons though. You only get 2 returning weapons though. Same thing with the Rebellion, but with enhanced versions though, unlike Microsoft. Also the sidearms, Ebony and Ivory. It's good to see them back. It's really great and amazing. Also, it's good to see the Coyote A, the sawed-off shotgun, which is really satisfying to pull off. The other thing that's also really cool and satisfying is they introduced one new arm, and that is actually the Faust hat, which I would gotta say is that.
Michael Jackson.
I don't actually have like a cowboy hat, but this is the only hat that I can actually use though. The other weapon that can make a comeback though, but you can get it a lot more earlier in the game if you do find the secret spot though. The Kalina Hill, or Kalina Ann, which is actually Lady's weapon though. You deliver like some really cool rocket missiles and stuff like that, but then you get another enhanced version of it in the near final act of the game. The devil triggers for both. V is absolutely amazing. You bring in that giant rock monster and stuff like that, and it's really cool and satisfying when you deliver combos, and it pulls off a very cool Zangief mood. And then also for Dante, his devil trigger is good to come back, but there's another devil trigger that he pretty much just stabs himself in the chest with the sword, and he transforms into an Omega Demon.
That is one Omega Demon. Damn, Dante. Oh!
And geez Louise, his combos are really cool and satisfying. Just don't press forward Y a lot, or forward triangle, to pretty much deliver drilling attacks. Just keep hacking and slashing. Find ways to pretty much take your character down. And also, if you're probably wondering, because I got a little confused, hold L1 or LB if you have Xbox, and after that you can charge it up with the double trigger when you have your double trigger completely filled up. That way you can pretty much just hold LB, and then after that you just completely use it up, and then you just go deliver hell on all the enemies though, and it's very satisfying. And then also with Dante's gameplay, you can switch from Swordslinger, which you focus on using the swords, and same thing with the regular weapons that he has. Gunslinger, where you deliver some really cool satisfying attacks, especially when Dante uses his Ebony and Ivory, when he like jumps and does like a really cool flippy attack against the enemies. And also same thing with the Coyote A and Kalina Hill and the Faust hats. Trickster, where you can pretty much teleport and find ways to trick your enemies and stuff like that, and teleport and just pretty much become like, let's just say, the Flash, a little bit like that. And then also the last one, Royal Guard. Make sure you get the Royal Guard correctly. If you manage to, let's just say, parry the attacks and just counter them back, you deliver some very good satisfying attacks. And then Dante's gameplay though was absolutely amazing, and I thank Capcom for pretty much making it right though. The gameplay is without a doubt the best part of the game, and I absolutely loved it too. So props to you, Capcom. You guys absolutely nailed it in the combat department with both V, Nero, and Dante. So I'll give you guys applause to that. Yeah. Also, let's talk about the graphics. They look beautiful and colorful, and this is the same engine that they use for Resident Evil 7, the RE engine, and the same thing they use it for Resident Evil 2 Remake. Here the RE engine works really well and colorful in this game, because with Resident Evil it was dark, grim, and sad, and also very sadistic. Here it's colorful, beautiful, and at the same time very, whoa, that's a lot of blood, and that's a lot of colorful red stuff that's coming out of the ceiling. And believe it or not, it's really cool. It's not scary, but it's just satisfying to watch though. And yeah, in the graphics department, they nailed it out of the park. Also, let's talk about the best part of the game, the soundtrack. Nero's theme. It's beautiful. I loved it so damn much. And if you guys want to hear it, here it is. Oh god, it's so good. Dante's theme, the first time it came out, the lead singer went through a bunch of controversy. I did hear the full music, and it hurts the ears. But thankfully, it really hurts me to say that, not even though he's just pretty much going through a controversy right now. The other singers, they managed to find a way to improvise, change the lyrics, and also improvise on the music department. They absolutely nailed it, and also they kind of like hurt how the fans actually edited it, and they managed to listen to that. And I got give props to the band too. And also to V's theme, I absolutely liked it a lot. Right now, I'm ranking the soundtrack. Nero's theme, first place, second place, and third place. Well, it's really tough because I love both Dante's and V's, but it's hard to come up with because Nero's theme is one of my favorite soundtracks in the game, and I loved it. And every time you're like hacking and slashing and you hear that music in the background, it's just so satisfying and so good. And especially landing the combos though. About well, for the music, it's come on, there's no complaints. I loved it. It's amazing. Is this game worth buying? And also I got a few cons about this game. Yeah, this game is worth buying right now, but wait till it goes down, because this game, believe it or not, it took me like around 13 or 15 hours though. When I played Devil May Cry 4 the very first time, it took me like around 7 or 8 hours. It was really short though, but it was very satisfying pulling off some really cool Devil Bringers. But here, the story is a lot more expanded with both V, Dante, Nero, and also you get to see some very satisfying cutscenes, the relationship between Dante, V, Nero, especially Dante and Nero, like, you know, having a bit of a parenting moments though and stuff like that, and you'll finally get to know that in the very final act in the game though, and it's really satisfying though. And same thing goes with V and Nero too. Also, I do have a bit of cons too. There's microtransactions in the game. You gotta grind your way up to unlock this EX provocation, which you unlock like this really cool dancing move, and you get like a warrior, like a bunch of red orbs, and that's about it too. And yeah, it's just very bad. And then also, V, you know the obvious thing. I was a little mad and disappointed about Nero. You can't even switch his arms or anything like that. You have to explode him to switch it back and forth. And I think to me, it would have been a smart way that Capcom would at least find a way to, like, you know, switch Nero's arms. I don't want this arm, I want the other arm. But no, that's all the way they did it. And also, the DLC, Bloody Palace, is absolutely amazing. But we got no Trish, no Lady, and no Virgil characters to choose from. You only get V, Nero, and Dante. I like them both, all three of them, but it would have been so satisfying to have Lady, Trish, and Virgil to be joining in. But in the end, we never got it though, because Hideaki Itsuno just confirmed in an interview that he is working on another game. I really do want to give this game a 10 out of 10, but I can't. I loved it so much. I think this is, to me, my favorite hack and slasher of all time. It beats Bayonetta 1 and Devil May Cry 4 by a lot. Because Devil May Cry 4 was short but satisfying, but here it's longer, satisfying, but it needed a little bit more content in order to at least satisfy the fans. And with that, I will give this game like a 9 out of 10. It's an amazing game, and it's one of my favorite hack and slashers of the year. This is a must buy if you're a huge hack and slasher fan. And if you do love Deadpool, this is reminiscent of that. If you like a potty mouth demon hunter who just lays down demons and talks smack a lot. Same thing goes with Nero. V, he's much more serious though, but his combos are very satisfying to land. Same thing with Nero and Dante's though. Give this a shot too. And then also I forgot to mention this too. The boss battles are absolutely freaking cool. It's amazing, satisfying, and it's really cool though. And then watching Dante reacting to those weapons though was absolutely the satisfying part of the game. And it was also one of my favorite moments too. And especially the very final act of the game, which was really cool and satisfying. Mission 19 and Mission 20 was one of the best boss battles I have ever had. Very tough on the 19th level though, but on the 20th level, it is very satisfying and very cool and personal. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys do enjoy this review video because, dang it, I dropped it on the floor. I am working on the Fortnite review. I'm going to be going to California next week, so I hope you guys are looking forward to the next review. So this is about it. So without a doubt, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.